to Influencers, where we bring you the people that influence our city, our community, and our state. Today we're honored to have Dr. Jara with the Clark County School District. He's our new superintendent. I'm glad you're here with us.
I'm glad to be here, Peter. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here and really sharing with you some of the vision and what we want to do. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're here, and I'm sure this will be the first of many times that we'll be together and in the trenches trying to better our education for our children. So that's what it's all about. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Bueno, I came to this country from Venezuela, de Caracas, caraqueño, nací en Venezuela. So I came here to Florida when I was 10 years old, and my parents, had a vision that, for the American dream.
Of course.
And when we came here, I was an ELL student.
Wow.
I didn't speak English. I learned some of the things that people take for granted. But I still remember to this day, and I used to tell my kids in school when I was a teacher, I was a principal, I was trying to figure out what Halloween was all about, right? Because why do you go and knock on doors to get candy?
Right.
You don't celebrate that in Venezuela. So it was just, so I came and graduated from a public school system in Miami-Dade. I became a teacher. I became a bilingual teacher. I was a teacher, and then I became a dean of students. I became an administrator, and just really things that I didn't think of that I was gonna pursue, but it was just always having other opportunities to impact more kids. So I became a high school principal. Then we took a chance. My wife, I'm married, una cubana.
Yeah. So tell us about your family too.
Yeah, I will. So I became a high school principal in Massachusetts. Then I left. I went to the business sector for about 4 years, but involved in education. So I got a lot of business background just as an executive running a nonprofit across the entire state of Florida. I went back. And so I've been a superintendent in a small school system, and then I was in Orlando for the last 6 years as the deputy, the number 2,
right.
With a very similar population here. It was about 40% Latinos, a lot of incoming students coming in from Puerto Rico, Venezuela, and then
it's a melting pot.
It is. So you look at the similarities. It's a great system. But so my wife is Cubana. We have 3 kids. I have one that's in college that he's
Nice.
going to graduate, Carlos. My wife Lourdes, I got, I always forget the Lourdes Baun. And my oldest is Carlos. He's finishing his last year at the University of Central Florida in engineering. He wants to be an industrial engineer.
That's amazing.
And then, my other one who is at Florida International University, keeping him close to La Abuela. Because grandma's got to try to keep him. He doesn't live with grandma, but he lives on campus. So, and then my daughter, who is a high school senior right now, and her name is Jackie. So I have 3 very, I would say not different, but different interests.
Yeah.
One that was an athlete and was a regular student, but pushed himself academically because he really good in math and science. So that's why he decided engineering. My middle one, I always talk about him because he's a kid that didn't really like school until his 11th grade. He went to school because dad was on top of him, but it was, and he really enjoyed school when he took a welding class. We had a program, and he came home and he said, "Dad, I want to go be a welder. I don't want to go to college." And then he found the passion in school and how school was relevant when he's learning gas and pressure, and school started making sense.
Of course.
So then when he graduated, he says, "I want to go to college." But so I talk about him because he has both opportunities, and
I think that's fantastic.
And that's what we want to do for kids. And my daughter, who is running out of math classes because she is so gifted in mathematics.
Wow.
So when I look at in all my career as an administrator, you look at my 3 kids, and it's we're middle class, but I look at what my 3 kids have accomplished, from a kid that came to this country without English.
It's beautiful.
And I expect that for the 322,000 kids that we serve. But when the adults make decisions, and that's kind of what drives me, is you look at my 3 kids to say, it's possible.
Yep.
You know, when I was in school, I wasn't allowed in AP classes because it was just a different time. So in a generation,
imagine what could happen. Right?
What could happen in a family.
I think we firmly agree with that. More with our superintendent in a moment. That's beautiful. Way to talk about your family. Welcome back to Influencers. Here today with Dr. Jara, Clark County School District Superintendent. Thank you for being here again. Who's had the greatest influence on you, both personally and professionally?
You know, I would say personally, you know, there's 2 women. I tell you, my mother, you know, because when we came to this country, my parents were together. My dad decided to go back. He couldn't adjust. And my mom at that point, a critical point, said, what are we going to do? You know, and in 6 years here, and learning how to survive in Miami, we all said, we're going to stay. You know, so my mom raising 5 kids by herself without an education. She knew, she has a 6th grade education. She knew education was the ticket. So personally, and I'll tell you my wife. My wife is one because we were going through, when we were starting to date and get married, thinking about marriage, you know, we went through some, I lost everything because I went through a hurricane in Miami and different things, and my wife said, look, you have to push yourself. I'm not going to marry somebody that, you know, so there's, you know, that saying, there's always a strong woman.
I'm married to a Cuban woman too, so I know that motivation.
You know how strong how strong they are, how strong-willed.
Yes.
I call it passion.
Passion.
So I'm going to tell you, you know, my wife has always been behind me, and she picked up and has left her family following a dream that I had to lead an urban school system.
Yeah.
So, you know, always by my side. So these 2 women, to me, have been some of the, you know, my biggest support, and seeing what my mom went through is what I kind of made me, I think, a better father and husband for my kids. So I would say that professionally, you know, I've had people that I've taken chances. You know, the superintendent that I followed to Springfield, Joe Burke, and he offered me an opportunity because there was only, you know, in a system in Springfield, Massachusetts, you would be surprised, 65% Latinos.
Wow.
And at that time, there was only 4 Hispanic Latino administrators. And he said, you know, I need you to come. And then I just picked up and left and followed. And then my last superintendent, I believe, you know, her leadership and what she has taught me and how to lead and be resilient, high expectations for the adults on behalf of kids. So you know,
and it's an ongoing thing, right? We're always learning and growing.
Absolutely, and you continue to learn and grow to try to improve in what you're doing.
So tell us about your philosophy on public education.
You know, I'm a product. My kids are a product of public education. I firmly believe that public education is a great equalizer in this country. You know, 90% of the students in K-12 are in public education. You know, I think when you provide a high quality in every classroom for every single student, no matter where they come from,
yes,
no matter how much money they have at home, we are the equalizer. We are in public ed are going to be the ones that are going to really change this world. I firmly believe that. I have high expectations for the adults to serve kids, but I also, because I believe in our young people. I believe in the kids. And I think if we wrap our arms around all kids and eliminate some of the adult issues that they're facing, we can make a huge difference in this community and in this country.
And we will do that. More in a moment with Dr. Jara in a few minutes. Welcome back to Influencers. Dr. Jara, tell us, share with us the plans, the ones that you can share. Because I know you got a big task here, but what plans do you have?
You know, it is a big task. It's a big job, and you know, I put on my 90-day entry plan, and I did that because one of the things that to me is important is you got to listen. You know, yeah, I have ideas, and I'll share a little bit, but you know, you can't come in. This is not a cookie cutter.
Right.
What works in Virginia, in California, in Florida doesn't work may not work. Not everything. So you know, my first 90 days. Well, I'm in the second phase of the listening and learning, but I'm also leading now because we have to really change. One of my biggest priorities, and it's been documented, is clear. We got to get our fiscal house in order. You know, one of the things that is really important, we got to know how much money and be transparent. So the transparency to me is critical because the community deserves to know. And so does our board. One of my first big critical pieces right now is to really build a governance structure and a governance team, myself and the school board, to work together. This is a team effort, you know. That's why I came out with a one team.
That's
one
right.
team, one goal for our kids to be number one. So that's number one. The community, I'm going to tell you, this is a great community. I've been, you know, I put out a plan. I want to have 100 community meetings. I want to have 100 school visits by October because I need to learn and I need to listen from what people are saying, and I've been doing that. I don't know the number, but I've been spending a lot of time with this community because you have to, you know, from the support staff, from the teachers, the administrators, our police, our parents, our community leaders like yourself, business leaders. What do you want in a school system? So then I can put really the plan together. But I'm going to tell you, fiscal house in order, our governance structure, and really be focused on students. Yeah. Because, you know, I like to say, we're in the little people business. Mm-hmm. The adults are here to serve our children. And that's why we get into public education.
And I like not only that you have a business background, but I like that you're embracing the fact that something that we're pushing here at the Chamber. I called you about 2 hours after it was done that you got hired.
Yes,
remember?
You did. I
called
remember.
you in Orlando on your
remember.
cell phone. And the reason why is because I firmly believe the business community and the education have to be hand in hand. There has to be buy-in from the community, from the business community, and we got to start telling the good stories that actually do exist. We get the bad stories, we get that. But there's some good stories too. We got some momentum in some areas, and I think the business community needs to hear about that, and the community at large. And I know you've embraced that.
Oh, absolutely. No, and I remember the call. I don't even know it was 2 hours. I think it was.
It might have been less.
It was less than that. I think it was within the hour you called me. I think you were maybe the first or second after the trustee called me. It was you were the second call,
true.
Which is, you know, and the great call, welcoming and really sharing what you were thinking from the business side, and that's the piece that, you know, I'm going to produce. When I say Clark County Public Schools is going to produce the future of this community,
without a doubt.
Right? So, are we sending you the best that you need?
That's right.
I believe we're the economic engine.
You really are,
because we're sending you our workers, and our business is going to come here to put their kids in public schools. So this is to me it's a partnership that I need, because, you know, the facts are very clear. There's 322,000 students, right? We have 40,000 employees. There's more students than staff. Right. So we need parents, community, the churches, everybody to really be behind our kids.
We will be back with our last segment with Dr. Jara in a moment. That's excellent. Hello and welcome back. Our last segment with Dr. Jara. Wish we had more time with him, but we'll have him back. Dr. Jara, tell us about how the Hispanic community is going to play a role in your plans in the future, because, you know, it is what it is. We're the fastest growing population, and we have a vested interest in the education of our children. No,
and that's a great point. 47% of our students, right?
That's right.
Majority, almost the majority of our students, and when I well, actually it is a majority, 47%. The other, when I really think about our parents, and I always go back to my life. My parents, and that's where I always think the Hispanic, los Latinos, we have to get involved. Because here's our culture. My parents said, well, you go to school, and they trust the schools. Because that's in our culture. I want parents in our schools. Because the perception is that we don't care. No, we care. We're just working.
That's right.
We're working. We're trying to make ends meet, if we're struggling. So they need to come to be part of us. Because schooling is a lot different in America than in Latin America or in Central America. And that's the piece that we need to come and bring them. They know best. So we, as a school system, have to embrace and bring them on board to help us. So they play a critical role in what we're doing. They need to come in and be involved. And that's why, I've opened to Telemundo, Univision. I said, wherever you need me, I will be there because I need to communicate with our parents.
And how can the Latin Chamber help you?
Well, in whatever, organize any events, bring business leaders. I will come in and speak about sharing our vision, and then how do we get involved. We have a community resource department. Whatever you need from us, adopt a school. Yeah. And there's a lot of different things, and those are some of the plans that I'm going to start putting together. Is how do businesses adopt some of our schools to help us, where there's a great need. One of the other things is really mentoring. Because our kids need to see successful males like yourself.
I say that all the time, we can't hide.
We can't hide. We have to be there, and we want that because that's what they need to see so they can see the future of what the possibilities.
¿Y cómo te puede ayudar la comunidad hispana? ¿De qué forma?
Tienen que venir a visitarnos en la escuela, tienen que llamar a las oficinas, tienen que estar ayudando a los niños en las escuelas, hablando con los profesores, porque necesitamos que vengan a hablar, a estar involucrados con los estudiantes en las escuelas.
Y tenemos que estar unidos.
Unidos, y le voy a decir algo, es como yo le digo a los niños, le decía a los niños en Orlando, porque, y eso es una cosa que a mí, los latinos, siempre estamos, el venezolano, el cubano, el mexicano, el panameño, todos somos latinos. Yeah. ¿Cómo nos ayudamos todos para que todos seguimos adelante?
So I know it's odd to ask you about your future when you just got here, but where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself right here in Clark County Public Schools because we're going to do great things in this school system together in this community.
I think that's a great place to end it. This has been an incredible Influencers with Dr. Jara from the Clark County Superintendent. He is our new superintendent. I want to thank Dr. Jara for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Influencers, and I hope that until the next time, you stay motivated and stay inspired. Thank you, Dr. Jara.
Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Thank you.